Back to the Corporate Sister TV, where we discuss all things career, business, and lifestyle for working women. My name is Solange Lopes, and I am the founder of the career and business site for women, thecorporatesister.com. Today, we're discussing how to adequately plan our finances as working women. It's a topic that's particularly close to my heart, as I know that women are subject to certain specific sets of circumstances in our lives, in our families, and in our careers that really require us to pay particular attention to our finances. Some of these circumstances involve the fact that we do tend to live longer than our male counterparts, and that we unfortunately also do tend to be at a higher risk for chronic illnesses. If you add to that the fact that many women end up being the caretakers in their family, with elderly members of their family or with even younger members of their family, it really adds a lot of financial pressure on a lot of women, especially on a lot of working women. And this is the reason why it is so crucial for us as women to start planning our finances adequately and as early as possible. There are a few tips that I'd like to suggest as a working woman myself, in order for us to be better prepared when it comes to our finances and when it comes to our coins in general. The first one of these tips is to confirm our financial priorities. Very many times we tend to take on others' priorities in our finances and in our lives, whether it's our spouse's priorities, our children's priorities, or even sometimes our employer's priorities. And we tend to forget our own priorities in the process. So, what is really important to you when it comes to your life in general? Because those priorities that come first in your life should direct the way you spend and save your money. What are the important goals and objectives in your life that you're looking to fulfill in the course of your life? And how can you plan your finances around those? For some of us, it is saving for long term care. For others, it's making sure that our kids go to college. Or for others, it's making sure that we have a safe retirement nest so that we're able to maintain the same standard of living in our old age. There are many different priorities for each and every one of us, but it is very important for us to confirm these priorities as specifically and as honestly as possible. The second tip that I'd like to suggest is to learn to invest confidently. Very many times, many women are not comfortable with the idea of investing, myself included. Even as a certified public accountant, I still had to get over certain mental blocks and barriers when it came to learning to invest confidently. However, women are excellent investors simply because we're naturally gifted at managing money and managing resources. As caretakers and caregivers, we are naturally apt to really recognize the right ways, strategies, and tools to spend and save our resources in general, which makes us great investors. However, investing has not traditionally been an area reserved for women, and as a result, we've grown uncomfortable and maybe even a little fearful about investing. And it's a mental block and a mental barrier that we have to learn to fight, and that we have to confidently go ahead and learn to recognize our own barriers and blocks when it comes to investing. It's also important to educate ourselves when it comes to investing and the art of investing in general, and to be as curious as possible as to what goes on in the markets. The third tip that I'd like to recommend is to plan for taxes. There are two things that are certain, right? It's death and taxes. Well, considering how taxes are certain, it's important for us to make sure that we're adequately prepared for them. Saving a portion of our income to go towards taxes is a great way to be well prepared in this area. So, whenever we do our budgets, whenever we plan for our finances, it's important to leave some room and some space for taxes, and to really take them into consideration in the way we really plan our financial future. The fourth tip is to, of course, save for retirement. There are many different options to save for retirement, from 401k plans to other alternatives, and many of these alternatives are directly offered by employers, which takes a lot of the guesswork out of the equation. However, it's also important to continue to educate ourselves on our best options when it comes to retirement. It's one thing to take advantage of an employer provided 401k plan. It's another thing to get in the habit of getting educated in terms of what goes into the 401k plan, the different matching options that our employers may provide, the different types of funds that may go into the 401k fund, so we can have the best strategies and options when it comes to optimizing our retirement savings. And this may require you to use the help of a professional in this area. However, it's always beneficial to get more information and to get more educated in this area in order to plan your finances adequately. The fifth step is to mind your spouse's finances. This is another area where a lot of women hesitate to confront their spouses when it comes to financial questions. And as a result, there may be some financial transactions or some financial commitments that end up going under the radar and that end up hurting the family as a whole. It's very, very important to keep in touch financially, as I like to say it, within your own marriage or your own relationship or your partnership. It could be as simple as having some financial dates instead of having a traditional date where you go out to the restaurant or go out to have some good time. Organize a date with your spouse or significant other during which you guys discuss finances. It's a great way to keep in touch financially, and it's a great way to also share your financial goals and objectives and come up with a common strategy that can help you really leverage your financial condition as much as possible. Tip number 6 is to get adequate insurance. Insurance is basically your backup case in case, something unfortunate happens, and you want to have that protection and have that coverage. So it's really important to look at your different options and to even consult a professional in terms of the different insurance options that you can get. These insurance options may include your home insurance, your car insurance, or insurance on your precious property or what have you. But it is very important to make some room and some space in your financial budget and in your financial plan to cover for insurance needs. Tip number 7 is to create multiple streams of income and build wealth. This is again another area that as women we may not be as comfortable with, especially when it comes to building wealth. Very many times we think that, doing with our own income is enough, when there are, especially nowadays, multiple possibilities to create multiple streams of income. And the reason why this is so important is that because it protects you in case of a job loss, or in case your business goes under, or there are some unforeseen circumstances coming at you all of a sudden. Having multiple streams of income can be done by having one or multiple side hustles, or having one or multiple side businesses. And this doesn't mean that you have to fill up your schedule with many different activities for the sake of making additional money, but that you're finding efficient and productive way to create additional income to protect yourself and your family. Tip number 8 is to prepare for long-term care. Now, having health insurance for your day-to-day medical needs is one thing, but having long-term care is another thing. This is a matter of making sure that in your old age you're provided for in terms of medical care. So it's important to research your options when it comes to long-term care and even consult a professional so that you know what will work best and what you have to do currently in order to save and prepare so that you can be well taken care of in the future. Tip number 9 is one that is not a very comfortable one to deal with, and it is to create your estate plan. Your estate plan is basically, a plan that you're making in case you are no longer here, so that your assets and liabilities can be properly managed. And it's something that many of us don't like to think about because it kind of has a bit of a dark side to it. However, if you have a family, or in general, if you don't want your assets or the fruit of your work to really go wasted, it's something that you want to take into consideration as part of your financial plan. And last but not least, plan early and review your financial plan as frequently as possible. Your financial situation and your financial plan in general is a living and breathing thing. It's going to evolve with your circumstances, it's going to evolve with your career, your business, and your life in general. It's going to change when you get married if you're not married yet. It's going to change when you have kids, when you purchase a home, when you purchase different types of assets. So it's really called to change frequently, and as such, you may want to review it and update it as frequently and as accurately as possible. The 10 financial planning tips for working women that I wanted to suggest to your consideration as you continue to build your financial plan for your life in general. I thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.